Krai was a talentless loser who becomes the leader of the greatest team of treasure hunters in the world. Even though he just wanted to live a quiet life in the peaceful village he was born in, becoming a treasure hunter was not even his plan. It was the dream of his childhood friends, who wanted to become famous heroes who explore the ancient treasure vaults filled with treasures and deadly monsters. When they were young, everyone swore that they would become famous treasure hunters and travel the world. Many years have passed since then, and Krai is a young man now. As he is walking through the city on a rainy day, he sees a long line in front of a pub. He knows that this line is for all the treasure hunter wannabes who want to join one of the largest clans named First Steps, which is a collection of many parties that help each other. Krai joins the queue, thinking about how everyone needs a party to become successful. Every treasure hunter thinks of growing stronger with his party, but he could not do that. Just then, the girl behind him approaches him and starts asking if he is already in a party. Krai turns around and the girl named Ruta introduces herself and says she has just received her level 3 certificate. She reaches out for a handshake, but the incel Krai gets nervous when talking to girls, so he doesn't shake her hand. He still tells her his name though, and Ruta thinks it is enough to keep talking to him. She tells Krai that she always goes solo, but she was having some trouble at a treasure vault called White Wolf's Den, so she decided to join a party. Suddenly, one of the guys in the line starts mocking Ruta, asking if she really thinks she can clear White Wolf's Den at level 3 abilities. He tells her that level 3 hunters are noobs, but she gets angry at Scarface's remarks and tells him to take his words back. He doesn't, and things start getting heated between them. Krai wants no part of this so he tries his best to camouflage with the wall behind him, while a guard comes to break the fight between Ruta and Scarface. Soon, they get inside the tavern and Ruta is amazed by the amount of hunters in this place because it is her first time here. But Krai tells her that he has been to 5 such gatherings before. Ruta feels sorry for him because it means that he got rejected every time, and Krai tells her not to. Only those who have skills can become successful hunters, and losers like him must cling to any opportunity to survive. Ruta begins asking him about the parties present here. She asks about the most flashy party first, and Krai tells her that it is the best party in this clan. The party is led by a blonde playboy named Ark with a level 7 certification, and with just 5 of his teammates, he managed to clear a rank 7 treasure vault. Ruta is amazed to hear that, and asks him about the empty seat besides Ark's party. Before Krai can tell her anything, Scarface comes there and asks her if she came here without doing any kind of research. He begins telling her that the empty seat belongs to the leader of the Grievers party, who founded the First Steps clan. Krai knows a lot about the Grievers party, because it is the party of his friends that came to this city 5 years ago, and quickly became the strongest. They are all incredibly skilled, and are still regarded as the strongest party ever. Scar tells Ruta that the main reason there are so many people here is because Grievers is trying to find a new member for the first time. All the solo hunters here want to join the strongest party, but since the chair is empty, Grievers might not be here. Suddenly, an angry redhead begins shouting at the organizers of the event, asking where the Grievers party is because he came here just for them. He proudly declares that he is at level 4, and he will become the strongest hunter one day, so he needs to join the strongest party for that. A girl named Tino comes forth to discipline the boy, but the guard from earlier tries to stop her and asks her not to pay any attention to the idiot. But the redhead gets furious on hearing this. While the guard tries his best to calm down the situation, the hunters in the tavern are eager to see a fight. They clear the area for the lowly and the redhead to fight, and Krai tells Ruta to come out with him so they don't get caught in the crossfire. He begins leading her outside, thinking he should not have come here. Meanwhile, Tino starts warming up to end the redhead in an instant, when suddenly, she senses a familiar presence. She completely ignores the redhead as he charges his magic sword and begins looking around. She suddenly notices Krai and heads towards him, ignoring the redhead's attack. Moments later, Krai falls to the ground as he finds Tino blocking his way with a very suggestive split. Her personality has done 180, and she is no longer the mean killing machine, but a simp for Krai. She calls him Master, asking since how long has he been here. Just then, the blonde named Ark comes there and tells Krai that he is late, because until the clan master and the leader of Grievers shows up, they can't start. Everyone is dumbfounded on learning that the pathetic loser on the ground is the leader of the formidable clan, and Krai just wants the earth to swallow him at this point. His story started 5 years ago, when he formed the Grievers party with his childhood friends to achieve their dream. They went to beginner vaults and cleared them quickly. While his 5 friends were all extremely talented, he was the only one without any real skill. He knew that as they went to more difficult vaults, he would be a burden on his friends even though they don't let it show. That is why he decided to leave the party for the sake of his friends. When he gathered his friends to tell them that he was quitting, they ignored him like my crush ignores me, and said that their party doesn't have a leader, so he should take up the post. Krai was shocked that his resignation was converted into a promotion, but all his friends agreed, saying that he was good at giving speeches and organizing stuff. That was the start of Krai's suffering because no one would let him quit. He became the leader of the party, which soon became the strongest in the world, and now he just wants to retire and lead a peaceful life. Back to the present, Krai is on his seat with Ark and Tino next to him. Ark thinks Krai is joking when he says that he got late because he overslept, and Tino tells him to not come closer to her master because she hates guys with plastic surgery. Ark calls her cute and tries petting her, but she runs away. Ark then says that Krai must have come late on purpose to mix with the applicants and assess them while hiding his identity. Krai wants to tell him that it is not true, and he really just wanted to stay low profile. It seems that not listening to others is a trait one needs to be a hunter, and Ark ignores his statement fully. That doesn't sit well with Tino, who tells Krai to kick out this arrogant playboy from their clan. She is a solo hunter and a disciple of one of Krai's childhood friends, so she respects him more than anyone else. Well, Ark ignores her too, and asks Krai if he found anyone suitable to join their party. Krai has no freaking idea about what to tell him, but he decides to play cool and asks what if he has found someone. Ark replies that he will take that person into his party with no questions asked. Krai knew Ark would reply like this because he has a big heart, but the harem of girls he calls his party don't want to share him with anyone. On the other hand, Tino thinks that she is the only one Krai has deemed worthy, so she tells him that he shouldn't send her to the plastic surgery gang. Krai's attention then goes to the violent redhead from before, who is determined that he will join the Grievers. Krai asks him to introduce himself, and the boy says his name is Gil from the Purgatory Sword Party. Krai doesn't think that the boy is anything special right now, but he believes that if Ark's party trains him, he might unlock his potential. He knows that he has no talent in scouting people, but he leaves everything to the god of plot armor as he decides to pick Gil. However, he has a condition before that. Krai says the most important thing for a hunter is strength and the determination to never give up. That is why he wants Gil and others to show him their strength and prove they are worthy of joining their clan. He declares that ever since he became a hunter, he has never lost once, and everyone is shocked. Well, he has never been in a proper fight either. Krai takes off one of his rings, declaring that anyone who gets it will get his recommendation to join Ark's party. He tosses the ring towards the crowd and Gil rushes to catch it, but Tino takes action quickly and sends him to the Shadow Realm with a kick from her thick thighs. The ring flies away from his hands and begins rolling on the ground, and all the hunters present in the tavern start chasing it like mad dogs. Krai declares that the ring is also a treasure item, so he will let anyone who captures it have it. He wishes everyone best of luck and then tells Ruta and Scar that he will see them around. The next day, as Krai is chilling in his office, the clan vice master Eva comes there to tell him about the mess his little challenge caused yesterday. The entire tavern was destroyed as the hunters tried to get his ring, but luckily there were no casualties. However, the Explorer Association wants to have a chat with him. Krai asks Eva to send Ark there, but she tells him that the association president has called for him specifically. Krai says that he can't go out because he doesn't have his magic mask that lets him change his appearance, but Eva tells him that no one will attack him even if he goes alone. He gives up and decides to visit the association president, and on reaching his office, he immediately grovels before him and begins apologizing. He says that it was just one little building that got destroyed and he will pay for the repairs out of his pocket. But Chief Gark is not pleased with this apology. He sends his secretary to give Krai a book containing missions no hunter wants to do because they are either lame or extremely difficult, and asks him to choose one as his punishment. Krai tries acting like a gangsta, but he knows that Gark is going to spank him right there if he misbehaves, so he begins skimming through the book to find an easy mission and then dump it on Ark. He finds a mission in a level 3 vault about rescuing some hunters and immediately takes it, unaware that it is the most dangerous one. Once Krai reaches the clan office, he finds that Ark is not there. Tino tells him that he has gone on a long mission while showing the ring she won from the rest of the hunters yesterday. Krai congratulates her and tells her to keep the ring. He then asks if she is free right now, and Tino thinks it is time for her to get to second base with her master, but he just wants her to do the mission he got from the chief. Tino vanishes from the room like Thanos just snapped his fingers, but Krai uses an artifact that tracks her and ties her down. Tino sulks as she says that she feels betrayed because she just wanted to go on a date with him, but he is sending her on a dangerous mission. Krai reads the mission details again and finds no problem, so he thinks that Tino doesn't want to do the mission alone. The rescue mission is in the White Wolf's den, and Krai knows exactly whom to send there along with Tino. He forms a party with Ruda, Tino, Scar, and Gil, and then watches them from the top. His thoughts suddenly wander to the day 6 years ago, when his group went to register as a party in the Treasure Hunter Association. Krai started getting nervous as they approached the door and told his friends that they should head back today. He tried to convince them that he was not fit to be a leader and would only drag them down, but they didn't bother to listen. The redhead named Luke kicked the door open and introduced himself as the strongest swordsman in the world, and just after him, the tan girl Liz declared that she is the greatest thief. Krai cringed so hard at this that he just wanted to die, but his friends kept embarrassing him some more. He went to the receptionist to fill out the party paperwork reluctantly, and the receptionist asked him to pick a party name and symbol. No one had thought about it before, but then Krai suddenly got an idea to remove himself from the leader's position. He chose a lame name Grievers for the party, and a poorly drawn skull as their symbol. Everyone told him that the name and the symbol were lame, and they paint them as some kind of creepy weirdos rather than the future strongest heroes. That was what Krai was waiting for, and he said that he just can't get motivated to be a treasure hunter if the party name is something else. He began sighing and whining, saying that maybe he should give up on being the group leader, and that made his friends immediately change their tone. They told Krai that he had a great naming sense, and they realized it late because they are not as smart as him. Poor Krai had no option now, and that is how the Grievers party was formed. Back to the present, Krai stands in front of the 3 treasure hunters who are still processing the fact that he is the leader of Grievers. They ask if he is really the level 8 hunter nicknamed Thousand Tricks, and Tino stops hiding behind Krai as she says that it is obviously true. She tells everyone to kneel before her master if they have understood his greatness. Krai asks her to stop intimidating them, and then sighs, thinking about his weird nickname. The redhead Gil can't believe that Krai is the real deal, because he looks too weak. Tino tells him to put a cactus up his black hole, and Krai asks her to stop. She says that she can't team up with people who only run their mouth and are not worth anything. Krai thinks that this describes him perfectly, but he decides to stop dwelling on negative things. He asks if everyone here is willing to help Tino explore the level 3 treasure vault. Gil refuses to take orders from Krai, and Scar starts fighting with him, asking him to show some respect to the level 8 hunter. Seeing no way out, Krai says that he is dropping Gil from the team, and then asks Gil and Ruda if they will join the mission. They agree, and then Krai begins to leave for his office. Gil suddenly challenges him to a fight and says that he will become his underling if he loses. Krai accepts his challenge, but says that he doesn't have to fight him. Instead, he will find Tino, who is the leader of this team, and if he loses, he will have to stay true to his words. Soon, they come to the training hall, where Gil declares that he won't let his guard down today like he did in the tavern before. He tells Krai that once he defeats the girl, he will challenge him, but Krai points out that Tino is a level 4 hunter just like him. Tino tells Gil that she won't lose to someone like him, and then drops her weapons, saying she doesn't even need them to low diff him. Krai knows that in terms of talent and experience, Tino has the advantage, but he is worried because Gil has a magic sword, which may turn the tides. However, Gil throws away his sword too, claiming that he doesn't need it to fight against an unarmed woman. Tino starts warming up and tells Krai that after she wins this battle, he is treating her to ice cream. He refuses, but when she insists and pouts, he gives in. Filled with determination, Tino lunges towards Gil before he even has the chance to react. He dodges her first blow, but that was just the setup for a powerful kick that slams him to the wall. Tino is confident that she won, but Gil gets up and charges at her. But then Tino knocks him out with a blow to his neck. She immediately turns to Krai for praise and says that she became so strong thanks to him. While she goes to his side to receive some encouraging words, Gil lies on the floor, unable to believe that he lost. He recalls how he was always the strongest kid around, and he dreamed of becoming the strongest swordsman one day. He became a treasure hunter and came to the capital, forming a party and conquering many treasure vaults. However, he felt the difference in skill between him and his teammates grow too wide, so he left the party and came here. Tino walks up to him, asking him to use his sword if he wants. He refuses, and she tells him that his stupid pride won't be worth anything if he is dead. After that, Krai asks him if he left his old party because of the wide skill difference. The shocked Gil asks how does he know that, and Krai replies that he has been in the same situation. But unlike him, their party stayed strong together. He doesn't say the crucial bit that it was his friends that didn't abandon him, and Gil thinks that Krai is so strong that even other members of his party don't compare to him. Suddenly, Krai touches his sword with his feet, and his body is covered in flames. Everyone is shocked as Krai accurately analyzes the powers of the sword, and Gil is left dumbfounded because he has not been able to manifest flames of this level yet. He can't believe that Krai can do this much without even holding the sword, and he finally realizes that Krai is monstrously strong. After that, Krai reads the details about the treasure vault that Tino's team is supposed to examine. It is called the White Wolf's Den, because a special type of monsters known as silver wolves used to live there. When the wolves were hunted down, the treasure vault manifested, along with the ghost of a powerful silver wolf. Krai says that it is too scary, and his secretary, Eva, tells him that he shouldn't have sent Tino and others there then. Krai tells her that it is just a level 3 vault, and Tino is strong, so she shouldn't have any problems. He then thanks Eva because she told him about Gil leaving his party because of the skill difference, because he really freaked him out by mentioning that. Eva tells him it is just her duty, and then remarks that she heard he used the boy's sword too. Krai says that the sword is a treasure relic, and it was so easy to use that even Gil can manage it without knowing anything about it. He suddenly becomes a relic otaku, saying that the relics found in treasure vaults are amazing, and he wants to collect all of them. He begins fantasizing about Gil's sword and wonders if he should try to buy it from him. Eva scolds him, saying that he already has too many relics, and he replies that every relic is different, so he can never get bored of them. Eva says that even though he makes a shit ton of money thanks to his party, he needs to be careful with his spending or he will go broke. Krai agrees with her, thinking how their party profits are divided equally and he earns a lot even though he doesn't do anything. Suddenly, he remembers that he needs to charge his relics, so he goes to a mage in his guild. She gladly charges the relic, while her partner tells Krai that recently a phantom wolf was seen near the White Wolf's Den and it wiped out a caravan that had level 3 guards. Krai gets worried, but tries to dismiss it as a coincidence. The mage suddenly adds that recently the wolves in the treasure vault are becoming stronger, and the association was thinking about changing its difficulty level. She says that recently, a team of level 5 treasure hunters also went missing in the vault, and their leader was quite renowned too. Krai is shocked to hear all this, and he immediately pulls out the mission information page. He had not noticed the names and levels of the people he had to rescue when he took the mission, and now that he sees that they are all level 5, he freaks out, thinking that he sent Tino and others to their death. When the two hunters ask him what is he thinking about, he reveals that he sent Tino to the White Wolf's Den with 3 other hunters. They freak out, but think that this is the way Krai trains those who have potential. They say that this must be how grievers became the strongest party, and Krai suddenly leaves the room, trying to convince himself that everything will be alright. He thinks that Gil's magic sword will help them, but then wonders if he even charged it after he used it last time. On the other hand, Tino's party is near the treasure vault, and the atmosphere has started to become creepy. Tino tells them that this is why she asked everyone to write their will before coming here. She knew that Krai had given her a very difficult mission, but she was not going to refuse him even if it meant putting her life in danger. She says that Krai has put this party for some reason only he knows. Everyone is worried now, but Tino tells them that Krai must have planned everything for them, so they don't need to worry. As it becomes dark, they are suddenly attacked by a wolf monster. They manage to dodge the attack somehow, but then find that they are in much more danger than they could have ever imagined. Not only is the wolf monster much larger and stronger than usual, it is also wearing armor and has a weapon. Tino is terrified, but she decides to fight to fulfill the mission her master has given her. Back at Krai's office, he is feeling guilty about sending Tino and others to danger. He decides to help them out because no one else is free right now. He pulls a book in his bookshelf to reveal a secret room where all his relics are kept. He begins taking everything he needs to help Tino and others, and then his eyes go to small vault with a rather special relic. He takes everything with him as he comes out of the room, and Eva almost mistakes him for a thief. She thinks that he is worried about Tino and others even though he has planned out everything already. She suddenly notices a forbidden relic around his neck, and Krai hides it, saying that he is not going to use the relic that has been banned by the Empire. He then gets to the window and tells Eva that he will be back soon. He activates the power of his robe and flies away like a bat in the night sky. Eva recalls that the relic he is using for flying has no controls and no brakes, so she is worried about him. But she knows that Krai can manage things on his own. He remembers the time when they first went on a dangerous mission where they found a Cyclops in a goblin cave which actually broke Luke's special sword. They managed to defeat the beast, but they got pretty banged up while doing that. While talking about it in the tavern, they get approached by a dumbass with the ick of a bowling ball and starts making fun of them, claiming that newbies like them can't defeat a Cyclops. Luke gets pretty pissed at this, but before he could do anything, the girls walk up to the dumbass and show him the head of the Cyclops in a bag, which freaks him out as he runs away. Back in the present, Tino's party somehow manages to kill another monster far beyond the level that they are used to, and during that encounter, Gil realizes that the mana in his sword has been completely discharged. He soon remembers that Krai unleashed the energy from his sword during his demonstration, and he forgot to charge it after that. Scar seems pretty shaken as well, while Ruta breathes hard from the effort of killing just one monster. Scar thinks that they should head back since they don't have the appropriate people or level to deal with these monsters. But Tino straight up rejects their plans, claiming that Krai sent them over for a reason, and there is no way that they are going to disappoint him. She claims that everything is a part of Krai's plan, and even Gil's sword being discharged might be a part of his plan. With her total belief in Krai, she moves forward, jiggling her assets. Soon they reach the actual dungeon where they find these wolf monsters waiting outside with guns and bows, ready to attack anyone who comes near the cave. They all hide behind some rocks and discuss their plan further on from here, and everyone decides that it would be for the best if they avoided confrontation here in the open and try to enter the cave first. Gil heroically claims that he will distract the doggos while the others run inside. Tino immediately realizes that Gil has the brain capacity of a toaster, as she tells him that the wolves will doggo-style him if he tries anything funny. Gil claims that he still has his legendary sword, and even without mana, it is still a formidable weapon. But as the leader of the group, Tino denies it, as she needs to make sure that they all return in one piece with their cherries intact. Tino comes up with an alternative plan pretty quickly, as she claims that she and Ruta can act as distractions which will stop their Sigma grind set, while Gil and Scar will attack them from behind as if they dropped a soap. Meanwhile, Krai flies as fast as possible, hoping that the group would still be alive, but unbeknownst to him, the group is pushing past their limits and doing pretty well, as to everyone's surprise. They even manage to take down the 4 wolf monsters thanks to their incredible teamwork. Suddenly, some more monsters emerge from the cave, and the party immediately jumps into action. Tino holds back and observes her temporary team. Meanwhile, Ruta is not very flashy by any sense of imagination, but with her thief skills, she manages to locate the enemies very effectively and creates enough of a distraction that it gives Tino the opportunity to land the killing blow. While this was all happening, this stupid thirsty hoe immediately starts fawning over Krai again, thinking that he must have thought about all this beforehand and sent them to this dungeon specifically so that they can gain more confidence. While fighting against the monster, he remembers the time when he shit-talked his own teammates because he felt that they weren't good enough and can't keep up with him. Because of that, he left the team, but he never even thought about how they felt during the whole encounter, as they were trying their best to keep up with him. While he was struggling against the beast, Scar regains his footing and pushes the monster away, giving Gil the opportunity to land a massive slash to its chest, killing it immediately. He finally realizes how amazing it could feel to fight in a party where your teammates are not complete retards, and moves ahead to the next area. Before walking through the next set of caves, Tino stops them, claiming that she can feel the presence of someone nearby. Scar asks whether it could be the people who were lost in the cave, but Tino refuses to believe that, as she thinks that Krai must have arranged for them to fight against the boss monster before they can retrieve the injured party members. Scar wonders whether they should turn back at this point, but Tino refuses, claiming that they came this far without even getting a scratch, so they are not turning away now. She starts fat-shaming Scar, calling him a wimpy little bitch, even though he is so big and fat. She claims that they can't grow if they only take on the safest tasks. This ends up resonating with Scar, who claims that she might be right since after becoming a level 4 adventurer, he never felt the need to actually go to higher level dungeons, as he can comfortably earn money from the lower level areas. Tino replies that Krai must have saw through him immediately, and that's why he put him in this party so that he can face his fears and grow. She turns around to the rest of the team, telling them that they all were chosen for a reason, as Krai is a god and an elaborate mastermind who calculates everything and doesn't throw spaghetti at the wall just to check whether it sticks. During her monologue though, Ruda interrupts her, asking why would he pick her as she doesn't have any emotional baggage, and Tino looks at her up and down before coming to the conclusion that she has massive plots and that's why she got selected. Back outside, Krai is freaking out, wondering whether he just sent 4 adventurers to their death just because he was lazy, so he starts going as fast as possible, not realizing that he doesn't have good brakes. Because of that, he ends up becoming a pinball as he enters the dungeon, while Tino and her party were finally face to face against the giant boss monster, wielding a massive axe. Scar thinks that the boss is way too big for them, and soon the monster tries to hit them with his axe. They all manage to dodge the hit as they run around, but Scar and Ruda end up falling to the ground. Tino realizes that the monster is incredibly powerful and they need to come up with a plan. She notices that the boss is not wearing a helmet, which means that either he is too cool for a helmet or his head is his weakness. Whoever could have thought that? She tells Gil to block the next oncoming attack while she will try to go in for the killing blow, and Gil agrees to the plan without any hesitation. They all get ready to engage once again as the monster steps forward to attack with his giant axe. Gil manages to block the attack with his sword, while Scar attacks it from behind, only to get bitch slapped in the face. The monster would have killed Scar if not for Tino, who jumps up on its axe and starts running towards its face. She takes the leap of faith, but unfortunately the beast is much quicker and ends up slashing her across her juicy thighs, while she stabs him in the back of the neck as she has watched too much Attack on Titan. The plan works out for them as the monster disappears while she drops to the ground and takes out a health potion to heal her wound. Gil and Scar both are relieved that they are alive as they walk towards Tino, who gives Scar her sword, claiming that she can survive without it for a bit. Suddenly, she senses something and dodges a spear heading towards her from the darkness. They are all incredibly shocked at this since the boss is already dead, but soon 4 more boss monsters emerge from the darkness, carrying several different weapons as Ruda freaks out. This time even Tino feels like Krai went a little overboard, as one boss was enough. But she is not going to let him down, so she gets up once again and plans to quickly enter the nearby narrow cave where the beasts won't be able to chase them. But one of the monsters immediately covers the entrance, blocking their escape. Scar and Gil both speak up, telling the girls that they will act as bait while both the girls should quickly escape through the caves. Ruda tries to argue, but Scar tells her not to worry as everyone dies one day and it's better that some of them survive today. Tino, on the other hand, is not willing to sacrifice anyone as she wonders what Krai would have done when she remembers that she has the magical ring that he gave her. She tells them to back her up, so all 3 of them quickly attack the monster in quick succession, one after the other, while Tino uses the ring, which can shoot an air bullet at the enemy, and charges it before blasting the monster's eyes with it. The boss monster starts flailing around while Gil decides to go for the killing blow. Unfortunately, he ends up getting bitch slapped away, and by the time Tino tries to help him, all the monsters are already on top of them. Just when they thought everything was over, Krai enters the cave like a pinball and blasts the monster away into the wall. Tino is surprised to see him here, while Scar realizes that these beasts seem scared of him. One of the monsters tries to attack him, but thanks to Krai's protective relics, nothing happens to him. Krai quickly shoots a magic blast at the monster thanks to his magic rings, which blasts the monster into the wall once again. He quickly takes out a smoke bomb and uses it to give everyone some cover to run away, and thanks to that, they all manage to escape. Krai quickly takes a look at Tino's juicy chicken thighs and heals them with his relic, as without them he literally can't do anything. After that, he tells them all to follow him as they start walking through the cave, while he himself is scared as he doesn't know what can happen next on this adventure. He starts reminiscing about how his friends reacted when he first showed them that he is a giant hoarder. He expected them to be disgusted by him, as he probably hoarded all the toilet papers during Corona. But surprisingly, they were pretty chill about it and showed a lot of interest in what he was doing. One of his teammates grabbed a Gucci bag like a total gold digger, but that bag itself was a relic with unlimited space. Soon enough, the lowly grabbed a bracelet and put it on her, asking Krai what the hell did it do. But before he could reply, the loli fell on her ass, and no matter how much she tried standing back up, she kept failing. Krai replies that it's a gravity-defying bracelet which messes up your sense of balance. She was very confused at why would someone keep such an item, but his concentration switches over to the reed head. Luke grabs a sword just as red as he is. Krai immediately tells him to drop the sword as it was cursed, but he fails and Luke ends up getting cursed by the sword as he starts trying to slash anyone who came in his way. They held him down to the ground and waited for him to tire himself out before they can grab the sword out of his grasp. Back in the present, he keeps walking with his head down, trying to figure out whether he is going in the right direction. He has absolutely no idea where he is and wishes that someone would take the lead and actually escort them instead. But all the party members have total belief in him as they expect him to know everything. He keeps walking while turning back every now and then. Krai cries on the inside, wondering whether Tino is mad at him for sending them here and is intentionally not helping. But he decides to keep walking when suddenly all the remaining party members freeze as they ask Krai how did he know they needed to come here. Tino excitedly claims that Krai knows everything, and they all run ahead into the cave where they find the injured human party that got lost in the caves. He is surprised to see them here as he would have completely missed them if he was alone. The leader of the injured party named Rod thanks them for the help, but Tino tells him to thank Krai as he led them here. Krai immediately claims that it was just a coincidence, but obviously his party members think that he is just being humble. Rudy gives them all some of the meds she had, but it is not enough, and they are still too weak since they haven't eaten anything in a while. Thankfully, Krai remembers that he is carrying the infinite chocolate bag that he stole from Epstein's Island to lure kids, and hands everyone some chocolates. Tino starts deep-throating the candy, showing Krai her skills, while Krai tells them to eat up as he has more for them. Gil seems interested in his relic, but Krai starts pretending to be Wolverine instead of replying to normal questions. Scar starts talking to Rod, claiming that he never expected a level 5 party to have trouble in this cave, and even the redhead Gil claims that the wolf monsters were definitely strong, but not strong enough to eradicate a fully stacked level 5 party. Rod seems surprised by that and claims that they didn't get shit on by the wolves as they never really saw them around. It turns out that a total Sigma Phantom monster appeared in front of them all alone and mobbed them completely. He claims that the Phantom must be a special monster dropping because of Halloween or something since it was strong enough to control even the wolf bosses alone. Rod tells them that even though they are confident in their skills, the Phantom was simply too strong for them to handle, and even using all his special abilities, the Phantom easily managed to deflect it with ease before completely shitting on Rod as if he was sitting on the skibidi toilet. Rod claims that he thinks that the Phantom might be even stronger than the Sword Saint himself. This takes everyone aback as everyone in the Imperial capital knows that the Sword Saint is the strongest swordsman alive right now. Krai simply munches down on his Snickers as he knows that the Sword Saint is none other than his childhood friend Luke. But he doubts that this Phantom is anywhere near as strong as the Phantom, as Luke would have killed the monster long ago if it was that strong. Regardless of that though, Krai can't handle this monster at all, and he wishes that he waited for the pretty boy Ark to handle this mission. Everyone inside the cave immediately turns towards Ark for further guidance while she simply turns away in shame as he has no idea what to do. Suddenly he decides to trick them to get some more time, and tells Tino that he is making her in charge of this party, and her job is to take them all out of this cave as soon as possible, while he checks up on something. Tino isn't too confident about it and claims that Krai is the best here, but Krai claims that this would be good training and gaslights her into becoming the leader. Tino is very happy hearing that Krai trusts her so much, so she shows him her chicken thighs as a reward and claims that she will not disappoint him. They soon start walking through the labyrinth of caves when they soon find the exit of the cave visible in the distance. Being able to see the exit, however, gives them even more anxiety as they get worried about the Phantom showing up. But Rod tells Tino that he will act as a shield for them so they can escape safely. Tino shoots down the idea, claiming that they are all returning back safely since Krai is with them. One of the other members of the injured party claims that he should act as the bait as he is disposable. But Krai tells them that they won't need to do all this as they can simply walk out the cave. Before that can happen though, they start hearing the howls of the wolf bosses coming near them, which immediately puts them all on edge. Suddenly Tino feels something incredibly strong coming towards them. Even Krai can feel the presence, so he quickly shields Tino, thinking about all the relics that he has, including the extra lives relic. He currently has 5 extra lives, which means on the 6th hit, he is as good as dead. He decides to use his flying ability to launch a surprise attack on the enemy, which will take one of his lives, but is their best bet right now. Finally, through the fog, they spot the deadly phantom walking towards them with his sword out. This scared the crap out of everyone as they wonder whether they can ever live through this ordeal. But to make matters worse, a second figure appears behind the phantom, which is simply too much even for the brave Tino, who starts trembling and hides behind Krai, begging him to save them. Krai, however, stops being worried as he recognizes the second figure and wonders what she is doing here. Without even a single word, the second figure becomes Ronaldo and kicks the phantom with such an extremely strong kick that the monster blasts into the wall in a cloud of smoke. The figure walks up to Krai asking whether everything is okay and removes her mask to show that she is none other than the lowly Liz, now all grown up. The others don't seem to recognize her and wonder what kind of human can be this strong. But this pisses Liz off as she wonders how they can be monster hunters without even knowing who the grievers are. She tells Krai that she came all the way to the city to meet him, but when she arrived at the mansion, she heard that Krai was out in the cave to help the party out. She then tells Krai to back off as she needs to talk with her student and immediately moves over to Tino, still hiding behind Krai. She starts shit-talking the poor girl, claiming that she can't believe that Tino is so useless that she can't even survive this stupid cave alone and had to ask Krai for help. Gil obviously thinks that this is too much and tries to stop her, but gets such a strong back kick that he gets blasted into the wall, as well knocking him out. Liz then continues to berate Tino, claiming that she can't believe that even after training her for so long, she is so useless and stupid. Poor Tino completely breaks down on the floor, but Liz has no plans of easing out and, like my toxic manager, keeps talking trash to a person who is already down in the dumps. Krai is too pussy to intervene while Tino gets on all four and apologizes to Liz for her failures in an amazing pose, to be honest. Krai finally thinks that this is too much and intervenes in between, telling Liz that Tino did an excellent job during the quest as she defeated almost all the enemies and even found the injured party members. He tells Liz that she can go easy now as her training was obviously excellent. Liz immediately changes her entire persona as she becomes a sweet girl who asks whether she has done a good job or not. Krai looks around to see Gil still stuck on the wall like a lizard and decides to rein in his tongue, scared that he might say something wrong. Suddenly, they realize that the phantom has re-emerged from the wall, and behind him is a giant wolf boss from America with a huge minigun in his hand. This pisses Liz off as she walks away, putting her mask back on as the wolf starts shooting at them. Liz decides to become the Flash and slows down time before grabbing all the bullets, and after the smoke clears, she drops all the bullets to the floor, creating something which looks like a Clash of Clans base. She actually gets pissed at the wolf for using such a shitty weapon on her, which won't even do anything to her, and turns around towards Tino, screaming at her for getting scared by such a small weapon. This probably hurts the giant wolf's heart as he thinks that his gun is average-sized. But Liz is in no mood to hear anything as she jumps towards the beast and kills the monster with a single kick on its head. This monster of a woman then turns her attention towards the phantom, who is getting ready to attack her. Liz, however, is totally unfazed as she catches the sword with her bare hand while telling Tino that she taught him everything about catching and deflecting blades with her hands. Then why is she failing to do anything that was taught to her? Liz quickly knees the phantom in the air and then punches him down on the ground. Tino is shocked to see her power, while like a total madwoman, Liz continues punching the phantom on the ground while also verbally punching down on Liz, calling her a giant imbecile who will never be able to do anything if she doesn't quickly shorten the gap between her and the other stronger hunters. Poor Tino starts crying, and while Krai feels bad for her, he knows better than to get involved as he doesn't want himself to be manhandled and totally destroyed like the phantom, who finally dies after Liz literally punches through her head. This makes Krai laugh as he remembers Rod claiming that the phantom was stronger than the Sword Saint himself, since Liz and Luke have always trained together and this phantom is nothing in front of them. Finally, Liz calms down a little and comes in front of Krai, hugging him and claiming that she missed him, while Krai realizes that his friend is literally the fastest person on the earth who can probably crush him in an instant if she wants to. They safely escape after that, and the next morning, Gil comes back to the training ground and gives his magic sword to Tino, claiming that he wants Krai to have it as he is going to train from the scratch once again, as he wants to become as strong as Liz one day. The other members don't seem that optimistic about that, while Tino thinks about the masks that the grievers wear. It turns out that Krai put in the order to create those masks, but this little retard forgot to add eye holes to them. He expected his friends to literally shit on him, but they are just as dumb and think that this is intentional so that they can save themselves from enemy flashbangs. Krai decided to let it slide and never revealed the truth as he walks back out in the balcony to get some fresh air as he wonders what would be his next adventure. Soon, Krai begins to look around for the slime that he had in the capsule around his neck. He got it a year ago from the most talented alchemist in the kingdom, who often gave her final products to him for safekeeping. However, they were mostly dangerous items, and she had told him that if he became careless with the slime and released it, it could destroy the entire capital city. That is why Krai is too terrified right now as he looks for the slime. He had tried using it against the monsters in the treasure vault, but there was nothing at all inside the capsule. Krai knows that if he thinks any more about it, his 2 remaining brain cells will overheat and explode. So he convinces himself that the slime was never in the capsule, and he has been worried over a whole lot of nothing. He still can't shake off the feeling of impending doom and goes to the clan building, where his secretary Eva tells him that the Treasure Hunter Association wants a report on the White Wolf's den. Krai tells her to send Tino for the task because she was the team leader. Eva informs him that Tino is training with Liz right now, and he pities the poor girl. He then abruptly asks Eva if something noteworthy has happened in the capital. She tells him that nothing has happened, but she will start investigating, and he tells her that there is no need. Anyway, he decides to pay Tino a visit and leaves everything else to Eva, who begins thinking about how Krai has been correct whenever he has made a prediction. She believes that since he is worried about the capital, something serious and terrible is going to happen soon. In the meantime, Krai reaches the training hall and finds a lot of grumpy hunters gathered outside the gates. A level 6 hunter named Sven tells Krai to get Liz under control, because he is the only one who can tame a beast like her. Everyone else needs to practice as well, but Sven says that he is more worried about Tino dying if the training continues. Krai passes his remark off as a joke, but as the gate to the training hall is opened, he finds Tino lying on the ground while Liz menacingly stands in front of her. She calls Tino a disgrace and tells her to get up and fight. However, Tino has reached her limits a long time ago, and the violence-crazed Liz decides to end her with a powerful kick since she doesn't want to get up. Krai stops her before she can attack, and Liz stares at him creepily, asking if he is really stopping her. He affirms with a smile on his face, and says that Tino has reached her limits, so she should let her rest for today. Liz calls her student a lazy bitch because despite having great talent, she is weak because she lacks motivation. She once again stares at Krai and asks if she should stop, and he affirms, which makes her return to her cheerful self. She says that she will let Tino rest since she can't fight anymore, but then suddenly, Tino grabs her leg. She uses all her strength to get up because she wants to look cool in front of Krai, and tells Liz that she can fight more. Liz is ecstatic to hear this, and as the 2 girls get ready for round 2, Krai leaves the training hall because he knows that he will die if he stays here. Outside, Sven thinks that this was his grand plan to motivate Tino to become harder, and Krai lets him believe whatever he wants. After that, they sit down for tea, and Sven tells him that apparently the case with the White Wolf's den is still not resolved, and some phantoms are still attacking the people on the northern road. He asks Krai what should they do, and obviously, he has no idea. Krai hopes that Ark was here right now, because he is better than him in everything, except maybe plot armor. He thinks that someone as strong and smart as Ark could have found a solution to this problem, but then he suddenly gets an idea. He decides to let Sven and his team handle the case of the White Wolf's den and sends them to the Hunter Association to meet Gark instead of himself. He tells Sven to think of it as training because he can't use the training ground, and then leaves, pleased with his quick problem solving. Sven's subordinate is not impressed with the way Krai behaves because despite being the leader, he has never seen him do anything worthwhile. Sven tells him that he should not judge Krai so easily because that guy is a true monster. On the other hand, Gark from the Hunter Association thinks the same thing. He believes that while everything seems the same with the White Wolf's den, Krai must definitely know something. He believes that he went to the treasure vault to check up on something he is hiding from them, and decides to pay him a visit the next day. Far away from them, in an underground lab, an old wizard is also thinking about Krai's involvement in the recent case. He is a member of a secret organization called the Akashic Tower that is trying to research ways to create treasure vaults artificially by manipulating the energy flowing within the earth. The old wizard is the mastermind behind the plan, and he was behind the mutation of phantoms in the White Wolf's den as well. However, he never imagined that a high-level hunter like Krai would enter the treasure vault and find out about their plan. The old wizard deems him a danger and says that they must abandon this location and go to another place to continue their research. He hopes that he had not sent the in charge of security away, because she would have been able to deal with Krai. Meanwhile, Krai has a nightmare about a giant black slime that burns the entire city. He wakes up sweating because the heat from the city burning was too real, but turns out that the cause of the heat was Liz, who has snuck into his bed. This is nothing new for Krai, and he doesn't even get a raise out of Liz because he has known her for far too long. She asks him if he is free today because she is taking a break from all kind of training. Krai decides to agree to whatever plan she has because it would keep him distracted from his bad dream. However, as they go to the clan building, they are shocked to find Gark, who came here since Krai kept making excuses. He tells Krai that they need to talk, but Liz stands up to him and tells him to clean up his mess himself and stop relying on Krai. Gark grows furious at this and complains about her leaving a high-priority mission incomplete, but she tells Baldy to stop disturbing their date. They keep on bickering, and Krai thinks that he is witnessing a roast battle between Eminem and Gordon Ramsay. Suddenly, the battle of curses turns into an actual fight, and Krai asks Gark's assistant to come upstairs so that at least they can talk like civilized people. He reads a report about the White Wolf's den and tells the assistant that there was nothing remarkable when he saw it. He says that he is worried about something else, but immediately realizes that he slipped and revealed something he should not have. The assistant asks him to elaborate, and he acts shady and mysterious as he says that he can't say anything right now, but his clan will cooperate with the association. He asks her to talk to Ark about this matter from now on because he can help her. Downstairs, Liz and Gark are still at it, and the reception is pretty much destroyed. The agile Liz keeps getting an upper hand on Gark even though they are equally matched in terms of strength. She fools around, telling him that he has grown old and his joints must be making popping sounds when he moves this much. Enraged by her insults, he slams his fist to the ground, but she dodges his attack and then pins him to the ground, telling him to get some exercise because he has grown fat. Gark's rage explodes through the roof, and he unleashes his full power to teach Liz a lesson. He attacks her, but his attacks only hit the building as Liz dodges everything. Just then, Krai comes down and asks both of them to stop because they are done talking. While Gark is in no mood to back down, Liz immediately rushes to Krai's side and clings to him, saying that they should resume their date now. Gark and his secretary head back to their office too, but when Eva comes to the clan building and sees the destruction, she gets a mini heart attack. Anyway, Krai and Liz go out on their playdate, and she says that it is a pity that Gark is getting weak because of his old age. Krai thinks that it is Liz who keeps getting stronger even though it seems practically impossible. He asks her about the level 8 treasure vault she was exploring, and she tells him that it was really fun, and the monsters there are the best. However, she got bored after a while and returned to see him. Krai asks her opinion about the boss of the White Wolf's den, and she asks him, "What boss?" He realizes that the boss of the treasure vault was like garbage to Liz, and she didn't even bother paying attention to it. He is a bit disheartened, and then his thoughts venture to the missing slime again. He wonders if it will really put the city in danger, and Liz asks him why is he looking so down. He suddenly asks her what would she do if the country ID gets destroyed, and without missing a beat, Liz says that she will run away with him, and they will go to a tropical island where they will have the time of their life. Krai is taken aback at her positive and carefree attitude and thinks that he should learn something from her. He tells her that they should go shopping now, when suddenly, Liz gives him her bag and goes to subdue a random man on the street. Krai panics as he asks her what is she doing, and she says that this guy was stalking them. Krai tells her that she is being paranoid and asks her to let the guy go. The man freaks out a bit as he sees Krai and then runs away, which makes Liz think that this was all part of his plan. She says that his acting was too great, and then asks him why he let the guy go. She wants to know what is their next move, but Krai doesn't even know what she is talking about. The next day, Krai and Liz go to the most dangerous part of the city, and she still thinks that this is a date. Krai tells her that it is not a date, and he is here on business. According to information he received from Eva, a lot of people have been missing from the slums, and though it is not something that would concern him otherwise, he is worried that the missing slime might be involved in it somehow. As a bonus, there is also a new ice cream shop nearby, and Krai plans to check it out after just doing the bare minimum for his mission. He tells Liz that they should check out the ice cream store first, and she is really happy. But the owner of the ice cream shop is not. He is the same guy whom Liz caught last time, but Krai let him go. He fears that Krai really let him get away on purpose, and now he is here to capture him. He doesn't even understand how he could learn that this ice cream shop was just a front to one of the research bases of the Akashic Tower. He plans to close the shop immediately, but then the door suddenly opens and a redhead named Sophia comes there. The man sees some hope for himself now because Sophia is actually the in charge of all the defense-related issues in their organization. Outside their gate, Liz gets impatient and tries to blow the door away, but Krai stops her, saying that maybe the shop doesn't open today. She reluctantly obeys him, and they go back to their clan, much to the fake shopkeeper's relief. Back in his office, Krai asks Liz if she knows when will the alchemist Citri return from the level 8 treasure vault. Liz says that she may take some time, and Krai only hopes that she returns before her slime destroys the entire city. Just then, Eva comes to the office and tells him that the Hunter Association has formed a team to investigate the White Wolf's den. It seems they are going all out this time, sending even a relic expert to see if they can find anything new. Krai thinks that it seems to be a big deal, but that doesn't bother him because he is not going there anyway. On the other hand, the shopkeeper reaches the headquarters of Akashic Tower and tells everyone that Krai found him. He is terrified because Krai saw through their perfect disguise and then didn't even take any actions against them. He shivers, saying that he can't even guess what is going on inside Krai's mind, and others also feel clueless in this situation. They turn to Sophia for suggestions, and she tells them that they should fight against Krai and his clan head-on. Everyone is shocked, but she assures them that they have a chance to win even though their enemy is at level 8. She is confident that the security system she has built can win against Krai's clan, and the old mage gives her the permission to do as she wants because they can't back away from this fight forever. The next day, the building of the First Steps clan is packed to the brim with adventurers. As Tino enters the building, she is shocked to see so many people and asks a guy what the hell is going on. He tells her that they have gathered here to investigate the White Wolf's den, and Tino thinks this is a bit of overkill. However, the man tells her that Krai was planning to send Ark there first, and Tino is even more shocked. Sending a level 7 hunter like Ark to a level 3 treasure vault means that the matter is more serious than anyone can anticipate. That is why the association and their clan have brought together a large number of treasure hunters to compensate for that. Soon, Krai and Eva also come there, and Krai asks if all these people have gathered for some sort of party. Eva tells him that they are going to investigate the White Wolf's den. She explains that since Krai requested Ark to take care of the job, she assembled a force that could serve as his substitute. That comes as a shock to Krai, because he mentioned Ark because he is the typical Mr. Perfect who does everything perfectly. He thinks that deploying these many people will cost him a ton, so he suggests that they reduce the number by half. The hunters freak out on hearing that because they think that they are going to die now. Eva calms everyone and says that Krai must have something important to tell them, which he obviously does not. He tries telling them that the difficulty of the mission won't be as high as they think, but they refuse to believe him. Krai turns to Eva and asks about the rewards for the hunters, and learns that Chief Gark has issued additional funds to make sure everyone is paid well. With the money issue resolved, Krai tells the hunters to do as they please, and they are glad that they can all go to the vault together. Just then, Liz arrives there, calling them a bunch of sisses who are too weak and don't even have the guts to overcome challenges to become strong. She jumps up to Krai's place, telling him that she will take this mission, and she just needs Tino to come with her. Krai immediately refuses to entertain her request because he doesn't want to endanger Tino's life, and doesn't want the morale of other people to go down. He says that everyone here will go on the mission, and then Eva tells him to take command of the group. Krai is taken aback to hear this, but everyone else is relieved, thinking that their safety is guaranteed since the clan master is coming with them. Krai realizes that he can't simply say that he is not going to come with them, so he says that he will be joining them later. Until then, Sven, who is already at the White Wolf's den, will take the command. Before everyone leaves, Krai tells one guy to beware of slime monsters in the odd case they are present in the vault. The team of treasure hunters go to the treasure vault, unaware that it is the base of Akashic Tower, who think that Krai has sent the treasure hunters to deal with them. While they are torn between how to react, Sophia says that this is their chance to attack the hunters when they are still not ready. She says that her defense system has been designed to fight against the most powerful hunters, and only the Grievers party combined can beat it. However, only Krai, Liz, and the alchemist Citri are near the capital right now, and she already has plans on how to beat Krai and Liz. Citri is the only one she doesn't have a foolproof strategy against, but it seems that Sophia has some personal score to settle with her, and she declares that she will crush her personally. She says that Citri found out their master's theory about creating new treasure vaults, and she has been trying her hand at that too. Sophia says that they can't let her do that, and asks the wizard permission to use their entire firepower to stop her. The wizard gives her the permission and makes her the commander of their forces for this battle, but his number 2 doesn't seem to be thrilled about it. Above them, Sven and his party don't find anything unusual, but he still believes that Krai sent them here for some special purpose. Suddenly, he gets a call and asks his teammate to blow the emergency whistle to alert the other treasure hunters. Once they get outside, Sven tells them Krai's message about watching out for a slime monster, and the treasure hunters are pissed because they are supposed to be taking orders from a man who doesn't even have the balls to be present on site. Sven tells them to trust Krai's judgment, and then recites a story about how he once invited everyone to a flower-watching party and told them to bring their weapons. Just as Krai made the toast, a treasure vault manifested behind him, and everyone realized that he predicted this. The hunters are taken aback by this, and Sven once again tells them that the information Krai gives is more valuable than anything else they can find. Back in Krai's office, Liz is pestering him to give her some work too because she wants to show off her fighting skills in front of him. Krai is already irritated by her behavior and wonders how long does he have to tolerate her before the hunters can solve the issue in the White Wolf's den and he can just show his face there at the end. Just then, the alchemist Citri arrives there, telling Krai that she is here to help him deal with an incredibly strong and clever organization that can become a threat to the entire world soon. Krai immediately kicks Liz and Tino out of the office as he hears the details about Akashic Tower from Citri. And on the other side of the city, Gark also dons his battle armor to enter the treasure vault and prove that his glory days are still not over. His assistant tries to stop him because he is definitely going to pull some muscles and break his back. Suddenly, Citri comes to see him and shares some important information about their true enemies. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing and watch the video on your screen next.